My brother did not invite me to Grandma's house as family. He invited me as the caterer. On his seating chart, my name was in the kitchen. In the pie box I carried through the back door was the document that made his buyer stand up and leave. By dessert, Daniel had toasted our grandmother, accused me of stealing from her, and asked me to sign away the house she had already left me. I did not cry at the table. That would have made him comfortable. I served the peach pie first. My grandmother, Evelyn Mercer, kept her recipes in a red metal box with a chipped corner and a lid that never closed right. It sat on the second shelf of her pantry for as long as I could remember, between the flour and the powdered sugar. When I was 8, I thought that box was magic because every birthday cake, Sunday biscuit, and apology cobbler started there. When I was 34, I learned it was not magic, it was evidence. Grandma raised me more than my mother did. That is not something people in my family said out loud, because it made everyone uncomfortable. My mother, Elaine, liked clean stories. Daniel was the successful son. I was the daughter who needed extra help. Grandma was the one who noticed that needing help and being useless were not the same thing. Daniel was 5 years older than me and always looked like he had already been forgiven. He sold real estate, wore expensive watches, and called every room he entered a great opportunity. He visited Grandma often enough for pictures, not often enough for dishes. His wife, Mara, had the kind of smile that checked for mirrors. She brought flowers to Grandma's house and placed them in whatever vase made the best photo. I brought pill organizers, clean sheets, soup in freezer bags, receipts from medical supply stores, the boring evidence of love. 3 weeks before Grandma died, she asked me to make peach pie on a Tuesday. She had just come home from physical therapy. Her left hip was hurting, and she was embarrassed because she needed help getting from the car to the porch.
Claire, when a person is embarrassed, that is when vultures start calling themselves helpers.
I laughed because I thought she was talking about the physical therapist, who had called her sweetheart 3 times.
I am serious.
She pointed at the pantry with that thin, stubborn finger of hers.
The peach pie recipe is not in the binder anymore. It is in the red box.
I said I knew. I had made it 100 times.
No, listen to me. If anyone asks you to sign something quickly after I am gone, you open the red box first.
I remember the oven timer clicking behind us. I remember the smell of cinnamon. I remember being annoyed because I thought she was doing that elderly thing where every sentence became a warning. That is the arrogance of people who have not yet been betrayed. We mistake prophecy for anxiety. Grandma died on a Monday morning in March, peacefully, according to the nurse. I sat beside her bed and held her hand until it stopped feeling like her hand. Daniel arrived 40 minutes later in a navy coat and grief that looked recently purchased.
I came as soon as I could.
He lived 12 minutes away. At the funeral, he gave a speech about Grandma's legacy. Mara dabbed under her eyes without disturbing her mascara. My mother leaned on Daniel like he was the pillar of the family, even though I was the one who had been holding up the roof for years. 6 days after we buried Grandma, Daniel called me.
We need to handle the house before this gets messy.
I was standing in Grandma's kitchen, labeling casserole dishes people had brought and left behind. Grief makes people generous with lasagna and very strange about ownership. I asked what he meant.
Grandma updated her will. I did not want to tell you at the funeral. She left the house to me.
The refrigerator hummed. Outside, the old wind chime moved even though there was no wind. I said that did not sound right.
I know you are emotional, but you have to understand, Claire. She knew I could manage the property. You bake pies. I handle assets.
That was Daniel's gift. He could insult you in the language of responsibility. He said Grandma had left me some personal items and that he wanted me to have first choice before he cleaned the place out. Cleaned the place out. As if she were a closet.
We are having a family dinner Sunday. Nothing formal. Just everyone together. You could cater it. Grandma would have liked that.
He did not ask if I wanted to come. He asked if I would work. 2 days later, Mara sent me a menu outline in an email with the subject line, "Celebration Dinner, Keeping It Beautiful." There were notes: herb chicken, roasted carrots, peach pie if I was not too overwhelmed. Under seating, Daniel and Mara were at the head of the table. My mother beside Daniel. cousins and uncles down the sides. My name was listed under service flow. Claire, kitchen, dessert timing. I stared at that line for a long time, not because it surprised me, because it explained him. Then a second email came through from Daniel's office. Attached was a document called Family Property Release. He wanted me to sign it before Sunday so the dinner could stay about Grandma. The release said I would not contest the will. It said I acknowledged Daniel as the sole rightful heir to the farmhouse. It said I accepted $10,000 as a goodwill distribution. $10,000 for the house where I learned to read, learned to cook, learned not to ask my mother for comfort when Grandma was in the next room. At the bottom was the sentence that made my hands go cold. Signing requested before pending buyer inspection Monday morning. Daniel was not settling the estate. He was selling Grandma's house. I did not call him. I did not call my mother. I did not send a message into the family group chat and give them a chance to practice their lies. I walked to the pantry. The red recipe box was on the second shelf, exactly where Grandma had left it. It felt heavier than it should have. The first thing inside was not a recipe. It was a sealed envelope with my name on it, written in Grandma's sharp, slanted handwriting.
Claire, if you are reading this, someone is rushing you.
Under the letter was a certified copy of the Mercer Family Trust Amendment. Under that was a business card for Sofia Alvarez, estate attorney. Under that was a small brass key taped to an index card. The index card said, "Safe deposit box. Do not go alone." I sat on the pantry floor and read the letter while the house settled around me.
I know Daniel thinks inheritance is a reward for charm. I know your mother thinks peace means giving him whatever he asks for. I have left the farmhouse and the cottage bakery rights to you because you kept this home alive when everyone else visited it like a museum.
I had to stop there. Not because I was sobbing. I was not. It was worse than that. I was quiet in a way that scared me. Grandma had known. She had known exactly what they would do. The letter continued.
Daniel has already asked me twice to sign papers I did not understand. Mara brought someone to the house and called her a notary. I sent them away. If they claim I changed my mind near the end, call Sophia before you argue.
There are sentences that change your grief into a map. That one did. I called Sofia Alvarez at 8:13 the next morning. She answered on the second ring.
Claire Mercer?
I said yes.
Your grandmother told me you would call when someone made the first mistake.
I almost laughed. It came out as air. Sophia told me to bring the recipe box, the release Daniel had sent, and any document he claimed was a will. Daniel had not sent me the will, of course. Daniel was careful in the lazy way arrogant people are careful. He protected the thing he thought mattered and exposed everything around it. I drove to Sophia's office with the red box buckled into the passenger seat like a child. Sophia was in her 50s, silver hair, black suit, no wasted movement. Her office smelled like paper, coffee, and consequences. She opened the trust copy, compared it to her file, and nodded once.
This is valid. Evelyn signed it in October. I witnessed it with 2 staff members and a notary we use regularly.
I asked why Daniel would say there was a newer will.
Because people who steal houses usually hope grief moves faster than paperwork.
She asked for the release. I handed it over. Sophia read the first page, then the second. Her expression did not change until she reached the buyer inspection line.
He already has a buyer.
I told her about the dinner.
Good.
That was not the word I expected.
Let him invite people. Let him say things in front of witnesses. Do not sign anything. Do not accuse him of a crime at the table. Let the documents do the work.
Then she asked if Grandma had attended physical therapy on February 17th. The date landed strangely. I remembered February 17th because Grandma had complained about the therapist's music and made me stop for lemon drops on the way home. I said yes. Sophia pulled a copy from a folder and turned it toward me. It was the will Daniel had filed with the county clerk's office. According to the document, Grandma had signed everything over to Daniel on February 17th at 2:15 p.m. in her living room. I still had the discharge sheet from Mercy Physical Therapy in my glove compartment. Grandma had checked in at 1:42 p.m. She checked out at 3:36. Daniel's will had placed her in 2 rooms at once. That was the first impossible thing. The second was the signature. Grandma always signed Evelyn M. Mercer. On Daniel's will, the M looked like someone had remembered it late. Sophia tapped the witness section with one red fingernail.
Do you recognize these names?
I recognized one, Mara's cousin, Tessa Bell. The other name hurt so badly I had to read it twice. Elaine Mercer. My mother. Sophia watched my face, which is how I knew my own face had betrayed me.
I am sorry.
I said my mother must have been confused. Sophia did not argue. Good lawyers know that denial is sometimes a waiting room.
Maybe. But she signed as a witness to a document your grandmother could not physically have signed at that time. Daniel is using her signature to create pressure. We will handle this legally. You will handle Sunday carefully.
I asked what carefully meant.
You cater the dinner. You let him ask. Then, when he believes everyone has watched you become small enough to sign, you call me in.
I looked at the red recipe box sitting between us. For the first time since Grandma died, I understood why she had not put the papers in a safe. Safes scare thieves. Recipe boxes embarrass them. My mother had taught me how to fold napkins for family dinners. That Sunday, she taught me what silence costs. I arrived at Grandma's house through the back door at 2 in the afternoon because Daniel had texted me that the front entrance was for guests. He had moved Grandma's rocking chair out of the living room and replaced it with 2 leather chairs I had never seen before. There was a folder on the hall table labeled buyer packet. I noticed because Daniel wanted me to notice. People like him do not hide knives. They leave them where you can admire the handle. Mara met me in the kitchen wearing cream linen and sympathy-like perfume.
Oh, Claire, you are so strong for doing this.
I set down the pie box. I had put the red recipe box inside a canvas grocery bag under the sink, wrapped in a dish towel. Sophia had the originals. The copies in my pie box were for timing. I asked Mara where she wanted the food.
Just wherever it makes sense. You know this kitchen better than anyone.
She meant it as a compliment. That was the cruel part. She was comfortable giving me the kitchen as long as Daniel got the deed. At 5:30, people started arriving. My mother came in through the front door with Daniel, not through the kitchen with me. She kissed my cheek without meeting my eyes.
Please do not make this hard.
I looked at her earrings, pearl drops Grandma had given her on her 40th birthday. I asked hard for whom. She squeezed my hand.
Your brother is under so much stress.
That was my mother's whole religion. Daniel suffered, other people sinned by noticing. Dinner began at 6. Daniel had invited 12 relatives, Mara's cousin Tessa, and a man named Grant Wilkes, who he introduced as a family friend.
The house had great bones.
Houses do not have bones to people who love them. They have sounds. The third stair creaking, rain in the laundry room vent, Grandma humming when the oven light was on. But to Grant, it had bones. I served chicken. I served carrots. I refilled water glasses while Daniel told everyone Grandma wanted the property kept productive.
She was practical. Sentimental, yes, but practical. She knew Claire loved the place, but love does not maintain a property.
I was standing behind him with a pitcher of tea when he said that. I could have poured it over his head. I poured it into his glass.
We just want everyone to understand there is a clean plan. No drama, no rumors.
The clean plan was Daniel's favorite kind, clean from far away, dirty in the corners.
Claire is being given a generous amount for transition. We are not throwing anyone out.
Throwing me out, he finally said it with witnesses, and something inside me relaxed. There it is, I thought. The thing Sophia said he would do.
Claire, nobody wants this to become embarrassing. But Grandma had concerns near the end.
The table went quiet. My mother looked down. I asked what concerns.
About money, missing cash, reimbursements, checks that did not match what you claimed you were buying.
That was the lie he had chosen. Not that Grandma loved him more, not that he had earned the house. He chose to make caregiving look like theft. It was almost elegant in its ugliness.
We have a spreadsheet, Claire. We did not want to bring it up, but if you force Daniel...
I interrupted her gently. I said I had brought dessert. It confused them. That was the point. I walked to the kitchen. I took the peach pie from the box. Beneath the cardboard liner was the copy packet Sophia had prepared. Trust amendment, appointment record, filing receipt, and a one-page letter from Grandma. I carried the pie to the dining room first. Then I carried the envelope.
Claire, if that is your lawyer letter, we can talk after dinner.
I placed the pie in the center of the table. Then I looked at Grant Wilkes. I asked if his inspection was still scheduled for Monday morning.
That was my understanding.
This is not the time.
I said I agreed. The time had been February 17th at 2:15 p.m. Mara stopped moving. Tessa Bell, the cousin notary, looked toward the hallway like exits had suddenly become interesting.
Claire,
I opened the envelope. The trust amendment was on top. Sophia had highlighted the key clause in yellow. Under that was the physical therapy discharge sheet time-stamped. Under that was a printed copy of the forged will with the date circled in red. I laid them out on the table the way Grandma used to lay out a recipe, one step at a time. Daniel's face went through several things. Surprise was not one of them. He had known this was possible. He had just bet on me being too tired to try.
That is not what those are.
I told him the top document was Grandma's actual trust amendment, signed in October, witnessed by Sofia Alvarez and 2 members of her staff. The second document showed Grandma checked into physical therapy at 1:42 p.m. on February 17th and checked out at 3:36 p.m. The third document was the will Daniel had filed with the county, the one that said Grandma signed it at 2:15 p.m. on February 17th, while she was at physical therapy. The room did not make noise, it held its breath. Grant Wilkes looked at Daniel. Daniel looked at the table. My mother looked at her hands, and I understood then that she had known some version of this. Not all of it, but enough. Tessa Bell stood up and said she needed some air.
Sit down, Tessa.
She sat.
This is a misunderstanding. Claire, you are grieving. You have found some papers and you are making connections that are not there.
I said I agreed that grief could distort things. That was why I had brought the originals to an estate attorney 6 days ago. Mara made a sound like a word she changed her mind about.
Daniel, we should call someone.
He was already looking at his phone. I said that Sofia Alvarez had already filed a petition to void the fraudulent will and reinstate the trust amendment. The county had received it that morning. I also said that the buyer inspection scheduled for Monday morning had been notified of the legal hold. Grant Wilkes folded his napkin and set it beside his plate. He did not say anything. He did not need to. He was a man who understood when a deal was gone.
You cannot do this. You cannot just... This is a family matter, Claire. This is our grandmother.
I told him I knew. That was why I had made the peach pie. No one laughed, but a few people looked at the pie. My mother left first. She did not say anything to me. She picked up her purse, walked past me, and paused at the back door long enough for me to think she might turn around. She did not turn around. Grant Wilkes left next. He shook Daniel's hand on his way out, which I thought was either loyalty or habit. Daniel did not seem to notice the difference. Tessa Bell left without making eye contact with anyone. The relatives trickled out in ones and twos, the way people leave a party that has turned into something else. Mara began stacking plates. I do not know why. There was no reason to stack plates. I think her hands needed something to do. Daniel did not speak to me. He sat at the head of the table, which had been Grandma's chair, and looked at the documents the way people look at things they cannot unfind. I cut a slice of peach pie. I put it on a plate. I set it in front of him. He looked at the pie. He looked at me. I told him it was Grandma's recipe. I said I thought he should have a piece. He did not eat it. I left the house at 9:47. I know the time because I checked my phone at the back door, the same way I had checked it the night Grandma called to say her hip was hurting and she needed me to come. The farmhouse is still in the family. My name is on the deed. The trust amendment held, and Daniel's forged will was voided by the probate court 14 weeks after the dinner. Sofia Alvarez sent me a one-line email when it was finalized.
Evelyn would be pleased.
I read it in Grandma's kitchen, standing at the counter where she used to roll pie dough. The window over the sink looks out at the back field. In March, the light comes in low and gold and catches the dust in the air, and for a moment everything looks like it is suspended. I have not spoken to my mother since the dinner. I do not know if I will. I know that she believed in her way that she was keeping the peace. I know that peace kept at someone else's expense is just a quieter kind of theft. Daniel is under investigation. I did not file the complaint. Sophia did, as a matter of professional obligation, once the fraud was confirmed. I did not feel triumphant when I heard. I felt tired, and then I felt clear, which is different. The red recipe box is on the second shelf in the pantry, exactly where Grandma left it. I have not moved it. If you have been listening to this story and you recognized something in it, a document you were pressured to sign, a house that changed hands too fast, a family member who confused silence with loyalty, I want you to know that the red box principle is real. Write things down, date them, keep copies somewhere they will not think to look. Grief moves fast. Paperwork does not have to. I am Claire Mercer. This is the Reversal Room. If this story found you when you needed it, share it with someone else who might.